Hey guys, I just wanted to say before we get into the podcast today that our sponsor this month is returning, Figurosity.com. If you're into drawing and you need some models to work from, these are 3D generated computer models of different genders and sizes of people. You can turn them, you can change the lighting, and it's a great website with lots of options. So if you go to Figurosity.com, you can sign up, and using the coupon code Anatomy101, you get $5 off, which equals to about a free month. And it's a great artist tool, and a great way to practice. You can even kind of set up a series of drawings, so kind of a timed drawing type thing. And it's very similar to our figure drawing groups. That's why they like to sponsor us, and we love to have them as sponsors again and again. So thank you again to Figurosity.com, and that is coupon code Anatomy101. So now let's get into the podcast. Okay, welcome back, Inebri-art. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and we are back again at the Craft Beer Cellar on Main Street in Plymouth, our home away from home. If you're into the craft beer, this place, come check it out. And our next guest, actually, I was told, checked us out to make sure we weren't serial killers or what?
I don't know. It could have been, whatever. Doesn't have to be serial killers. Could have been robbers. Could have been... Could have just been, two guys in the basement of a bar doing no research. It could have been rapists. I don't know. It could have been anything.
Hey, man, I got to sell a kidney here to make ends meet. Dennis Mailer, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Stand-up comedian, correct?
Yes, correct.
So how does one decide, at what point in your life are you like, I am going to
start? What got me into stand-up comedy? Is that the question you're trying to ask? Yes, the question that it is I grew up acting and performing and entertaining and doing all kinds of things on stage and stuff as a kid. So when I became an adult, I ended up working in the radio industry for 20 years. And I grew up a huge stand-up comedy fan. I grew up in, just after the comedy bubble of the 70s burst. So like through the late 80s, there was comedy ever on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Then a little bit into the early 90s, but after that, it all went away. And then Comedy Central blew up in the late 90s, and throughout that, I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian myself. I have friends back in Baltimore, where I'm from, who are stand-up comedians I used to, help write jokes and workshop with, and they all kept trying to say, you need to do this, you need to get on stage. And I would go occasionally to open mics here or there, and but anything serious, just go around on stage, fuck around, and then do it again 2 years later or some shit. And I got fired from working for a bunch of radio stations and working at a restaurant and a hotel. And I got fired from the hotel because I got into an argument with the kitchen staff because restaurants. And I decided that here on out I'm going to... And I wasn't really involved at the radio station that I was working at. Creatively wasn't involved.
Yeah.
I was very relied upon, but not given my creative freedom and outlet. And so I decided to take my creativity into my own hands and start doing stand-up. So started doing it in Baltimore for about 2 years and then moved up to Boston.
So did you move to Boston because Boston has that Boston comedy scene?
Partly. What actually happened was the morning show I worked for in Baltimore, he left and moved up here.
Yeah.
And after some time, he hit me up and said, hey, I guess it was 2009. Because I was looking up those dates because I just sent a resume out, so I was double checking dates and stuff. So in 2009 he moved up here and hit me up. He's like, hey, there's a job that's opening up here. I know who your boss is. She's one of my best friends. The job's yours. It's more money. It's full time. It's the benefits. It's everything you're not getting in Baltimore and DC. And I was working in Baltimore and DC at the time. And he goes, it's everything you're not getting in those areas. So it's a better step up here for you. Had he offered me that job in Poughkeepsie, Iowa, I would have turned it down in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But Boston's a metropolitan area. It has a good mass transit because I didn't have a car at the time. And it's well known for comedy and entertainment. And
sure.
I know the tax credit was for movies was up here. So I decided I took the plunge and ran out of bridges to burn in the DMV and moved up here for more bridges to burn.
Is there a distinct difference in the two crowds? Like, is there shit that doesn't fly in Maryland that is?
I mean, every city is
here,
different, and every show's the audiences are different. So, but there's a huge, there is a huge difference between Baltimore, Washington, and Boston. All three have different types of audience mainly. Baltimore, it's crass. That's what works. That's what flies.
Yeah.
The dirtier, the better. It's a working town class, and that's what they like. But they're also accepting of more things. They're willing to let you go, even if you're not being dirty or whatever. They're willing to give you more leeway. DC is willing to give you some leeway, but they are still a little uptight when it comes to not dirtier, but when it comes to more edgy material about race or ethnicities or stuff like that. DC gets a little uptight, but not that bad. They're very appreciative in DC. I love going to DC to do comedy because the audiences they're like, we're just glad you're here. Thank you. Which is refreshing for a very metropolitan area. But then when you come up to Boston here, it's, for the most part, majority of the shows are very, my opinion, are very tight-assholed a little bit.
Really?
I mean, you still got like towny shows and whatnot, but for the most part, there's a lot of shows that if you just say that somebody, if you're telling a story and you just mention that the person in the story is black, then I was like, what? That I didn't say anything racial.
Yeah.
Like they're a little too uptight in Boston, I think, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it all depends on what your line things are. But the audiences, they will listen to a lot of weird stuff and give a big try up here.
Yeah.
So if you're a little much more alternative, and that might just be because of the times we're in, where we live in a world right now where people, I think, mistake weird for comedy. So there's that problems that if somebody's being weird and goofy and stupid, they're like, oh, isn't this funny? This is comedy. Like, no, they're just... No, they're a homeless man who has a mental illness. That's
it's like I find there are shows and there's movies where they try to just be random, and that's funny. And to me, it's more. Sometimes that works, but to me, there has to be like kind of a through line.
Yeah.
It's the I don't hope you don't like the show, but Family Guy, it's just like this random time with this random person, and that's their joke.
Yeah, and sometimes it's reference humor, mostly with Family Guy, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Sometimes it's just, well, that was different, But I think, but it's also become so formulaic with Family Guy. Like at first, the cutaway scenes were great and innovative and different. And funny, and were, tied to the scene somehow. Yeah. Now it's become, all right, we need this cut scene, and it has to mention somebody from this genre, and something from this, and it has to be a takeoff of some kind of pun. And writers go. Yeah. So I think the problem with Family Guy in that regards is that it's become too formulaic. It's become too much formula that's too obvious now. Like, you could see the cutscenes coming. Before, they were out of nowhere. Yeah. Now, it's like, cutscene coming in, 3, 2, 1, boom.
So you were mentioning how, like, Boston is a little more uptight than, say, D.C. or Maryland. Do you like to kind of push that line? Is that something that you...
I mean, no, I don't like doing it. I don't. That's not something I seek out. I think if you're seeking to offend someone, then you're not doing comedy. Yeah. Your intention of comedy should always be to make people laugh. Now, if you mess up, if you offend somebody, if you slip and say something that's not funny, at least you made the attempt. But if your attempt is to go out, and a lot of people say that, and a lot of people, especially when they start out, that, I'm just looking to get a reaction. No, then you're not doing comedy. Yeah. If you're trying to elicit any other emotion from an audience other than laughter, you're not doing comedy. Yeah. So no, I don't go out to seek the push the edge or boundaries. I just start with what I think is funny, and go from there. That's the typical statement. I mean, I know what, my sense of humor is not everyone else's, so I don't necessarily go with what I exactly think is funny, because what I think is funny is much different than other people. So, but I go with what should what I think people are going to find funny.
Right.
That I'm proud of and that I like, that I can also say is funny. My favorite thing to laugh at is the worst thing to say in a moment.
And isn't that kind of like a comedian thing, like where comedians are amongst each other? They're always trying to like just say the worst thing possible.
Well, I think it's not definitely not the worst thing possible.
Yeah.
We understand amongst us for the most part. For the most part, we understand when someone's joking.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could say something that's horrible and off the wall, not off the wall, but horrible and out of bounds, and laugh at it because we know it's a joke and an attempt at humor. There's some people who have kind of in society, comedians and in society alone, I think we've lost the entire concept of irony and the nuance of things. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But yeah, no, I don't. Well, I like the irony of saying something or somebody saying something that's the exact opposite of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Said in the moment. I don't have a great example of it right now. I mean, all right, I'll say this. Here's a great example of it, and I don't mean to. Unfortunately, it happens to just be a racial joke that comes to my brain. But
okay.
If a black friend of mine goes, "Oh yeah, I don't like cinnamon," I was like, "Oh, because you're black, right?"
Yeah.
Like we both know that it's not the stereotype that's funny to me and to my friends. What's funny is
that you said it.
It's the irony of saying it is what's funny to us, and that's, like if somebody's like, "Oh, so what's the raunchiest thing that's ever happened to you?" I was like, "Well, I was choking this hooker one time." Like that's
right.
It's the worst thing to say at the moment. Like for me, what's funny, and my friends loved it back when I used to do that. I don't do it now anymore. But when I would flirt with my friends' wives, like so overtly over the top, while we're out, we're all out drinking, having a good time. Or I had friends who were lesbians back in Baltimore that would laugh hysterically when I'd hit on them. Because we know neither of us mean this. We know that this is just an over-the-top, obscene farce of a joke. So that's what I personally laugh at the most. Like, there's so many great... Like, I was just rewatching... or I was not rewatching Clue. I was watching a YouTube video of someone reviewing Clue.
Okay.
The classic board game turned movie.
That's such a great movie.
But I love it. I don't know about great movie, but
it's not like a Francis Ford Coppola movie.
Critics hated it. A lot of the jokes do not age well.
Yeah.
And even the ones that did age well, a lot of the ones that did age well still fell flat in their own time period.
Yeah.
But there's so many good characterizations. Tim Curry carries the movie. But anyway, so there's a lot of jokes in that make me still laugh hysterically because this just happens to be it's the inappropriate thing to say at the moment.
Right.
And not inappropriate as in offensive thing, but it's like it's the exact wrong thing to say at the exact wrong time. Now,
do you find yourself saying that outside of comedy, just kind of out of impulse? Like, do you have trouble kind of like switching that off, or are you known for kind of like? No, again, I don't really do offensive stuff. I try not to. I mean, things come out, but I don't shy away from, if I'm talking, I don't shy away from saying someone's ethnicity, or even using a stereotype, but it's not really part of my real things. Like, I don't say. I'm not going to make a race joke just because I want to make a race joke. Yeah. I've kind of stopped doing this one, but this is a good example of it. I did when in one of my sets, I talk about time when I was a volunteer book reader. Okay. And at the time, I had two different classes of kids. Mm-hmm. I had one class that was all Chinese, and that is not. And this is how I tell it on stage: is that it's not a catch-all for Asians. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying that the entire class was Chinese. They were all first-generation Chinese Americans. It's an ESL class for second graders. Yeah. Then I had a whole nother class that's just regular kids. So now, obviously, I'm setting up that I'm not a racist by saying a racist thing, and then I say something racist, so I can then walk into that's what I was always fearing, saying something accidentally racist. Yeah. And the joke goes on, and one of the kids says to me, I'm reading Clifford the Big Red Dog, and she looks at me and goes, "At least we don't eat the dogs, right, Mr. Dennis?" I'm like, who taught you that? Who punishes you? Me? Her? What just happened here? Yeah. I got out racist by a 7-year-old, and I look like a racist. So that's, I don't shy away. That's a scenario that happened, and I said that in finger quotes, and I'll tell you what the real truth is.
I changed it because it was much worse, apparently.
Yeah.
What the kid said to me is like, at least we're not one of those dog-eating gooks, right, Mr. Dennis? I'm like, who told you the word? I just removed the word because after, again, even though it's truthful, and it's the exact truth of what happened, I got tired of fighting with people because they're not listening to the nuance of what the joke is.
They just heard you say
They just heard me say it, and now, you're not allowed to say the word. I'm like, no one should say that word, and that's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's the point, yeah.
Is that a 7-year-old who's that word's been thrown at says it? Like, what happened here? So it's a 7-year-old Asian girl, not the other class of regular kids. Yeah. So that's what I point out is, that I don't shy away from that, but that's not to me going in. That's not me trying to do offensive material.
Yeah.
That's not me trying to push any boundaries. That is a funny, inappropriate moment that happened that I'm recalling.
Yeah. So it's more the real world inappropriate stuff. That just kind of happens.
I mean, what's funny in that scenario is that the whole situation's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like, I read a book to the kids in that same bit. I read a book to the kids about her on the story of Hercules, and the page opens up with my father Zeus raped my mother, and then his wife sent 2 snakes to kill me in my crib, but I killed them instead.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first line of a children's book I got at the Boston Public Library. And I say, I apologize ahead of time. I'm like, I'm going to apologize for what I'm about to say, but remember, this is written in a children's book.
Yeah.
And then I say it, and I go, at this moment, the only thing more inappropriate is Mr. Lincoln goes to the theater.
Yeah.
So again, apparently not as funny. Apparently, our host doesn't find the death of a president as funny as somebody being raped. Oof. But,
well, which is more inappropriate.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. It's just, we find inappropriate things that are not even offensive. Things can be inappropriate and not offensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what a lot of my humor relies upon. But there's definitely elements in my humor. From day one, like one of my first, I went 10 when I moved up here. I had a very just dirty, crass set, 5-minute set.
Yeah,
that worked and killed in Baltimore, and then I got up here and it was like it just bombed.
Yeah,
and I was like, all right, well, I wanted to write new material being up here anyway, so I started writing, and it took me 10 months to write.
Oh wow,
funny.
really?
Yeah.
Is that a normal length of time that you'd expect?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
no idea. I can't. Some people. No one's an instant success.
Yeah.
No one.
Well, no one in any career. I
know. But there is that mindset of, I've never bombed. Well, then you never tried. You're a liar.
Right.
You're a liar, or you've never really tried. Like, everyone bombs. You're delusional. You're a liar, or you've never tried comedy. Those are the only 3 scenarios where you could probably say I never bombed on stage.
Do you?
But for me, well, it was a change of voice too.
Yeah.
I didn't like the 5 minutes I had. Like, the 5 minutes was like, I like being the little spoon and farting on my girlfriend's leg because the asshole puckers out and kisses her on the thigh, and that's romantic. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, I really want to bang my neighbor, so I figured out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to borrow milk for make a cake, and then tell her to come up and lick the batters and stand there naked. Oh! Like, it was, I died inside. And it was just something that came about from the place I was at.
Yeah.
So I had other material. Like, I was doing radio, and I brought one of my regular bits from radio to the stage, and they just died. They don't translate. And so just while trying to work stuff out, riffing around, talking to people, got jokes, got laughs, and just started writing that material and kept going with it
because it was working.
Yeah, and I hated it. I hated every second of it. Like, it was fine in the moment it was created in.
Yeah.
But every time I had to recreate a joke, I was like, I farted on my girlfriend's leg. Oh.
So how do you keep... I mean, you do the set over and over. How do you keep it sounding fresh and like it's the first time you told the joke?
I mean,
especially if you're not into it anymore.
I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody has different methods of doing it. I don't. I stay loose on stage. I don't do anything rote. I don't do anything verbatim.
Yeah.
So no set is ever verbally the same exact way 2 times over.
Yeah.
I don't change a lot of things, but I try to keep it a little loose. I try to, because once I know it, and I can go and talk about it, then my brain can start working and you can do other things. And that's where I can build more and more things, because while my mouth is reciting the joke, my brain's working on something else. And in this moment, I'll find something, hopefully fight or flight, find something to add to it, or there's something in the moment that works. And there's plenty of times where I say something in the moment that's great and hilarious and wonderful and adds to the joke, but it'll never translate to another set ever again.
Because it was just kind of in that moment, or referencing something that happened. Or
I don't get bored with material.
Yeah.
I don't. If I write something new, I'll start doing something new. Right now, I have enough material there. If I'm doing a set, I can change it up to do something else. And sometimes I just do a whole different set than I've been doing, something I haven't done in a while, bring it back, see what it calls for the occasion or whatever. But yeah, no, I don't really get bored with material. Like the first set, the first 5 minutes that started working when I moved here, I don't tell any of those jokes probably now, but one of them was going back to the inappropriate thing. One of the jokes was about how I watched through my job when I moved up here was reporting traffic reports. So I spent all day looking at traffic cameras, sitting in a very comfortable chair, telling people who are stuck in traffic how bad traffic was.
Right.
And one of the jokes was, it's not, I'm not looking to find this, but it's funny to me that I listened to, I say I saw it on the traffic cameras, but I listened it to on the police scanner. You heighten things and make it sound better.
Right.
A 14-year-old girl giving birth on the side of 93, on the side of the Pike out in Framingham. Was it Framingham or was it? I always get Exit 9 and Route 9 mixed up. It was one or the other. It was either Framingham or it was 84. I think it was 84 now that I'm thinking about it. So that's Exit 9. Route 9's Framingham. So anyway, back to the point of telling details that didn't matter at all.
Fascinating podcast.
I was listening to a 14-year-old girl, and then you make a couple jokes about the situation. It's like this little girl's life is over now. She's no longer, not in life, but her childhood's over.
Yeah.
She's 14. She should be worrying if the quarterback is gonna ask her to homecoming dance, not her upcoming episiotomy.
Right.
Like that's and it's that was born out of that was one of those things born out of the moment. It's like, oh well, that's gonna continue to work, but that was never written down. That was me saying things, but it's. It's to me that situation. That's tragedy right there. We're not making fun of that little girl. Making fun of that girl would be like, oh, so this dumb 14-year-old bimbo got knocked up, and hey, jokes on her. She's squirting out a kid on the Pike. Right. No, that's not what this is about, and that's not. You shouldn't make fun of somebody who's in that terrible situation. I was like, hey, look at her. She can't keep her leg closed. Now her baby's being born in asphalt. Like, no, that's not right. But that's not funny.
And I think even personally, even those tragic moments in our life, when we look back, we can find humor in them. And I think that's kind of part of life.
Yeah, and most of what, I'm also, again, the point of the joke when I wrote it at the time was not about her. It was about me having, the joke was, I wrote the joke because I didn't want to be another person going to sleep. It's like, so I hate my job. Yeah. And then make fun of my job. No, I went out and purposely said, all right, I don't want to say I hate my job. I want to give reasons why I like my job. All right, why? So I took incidents of absurdity like that, of 14-year-old kids. Like, where else do you get to see a 14-year-old kid squirt out the kid in the back of a car? Right. Or another story I had talked about was a beer truck almost got stuck falling off the expressway. Yeah. And what was the point of that? The reason I said and now when my days get bored, I go into the men's bathroom, turn off the lights, and say beer truck into the mirror or whatever it was. Yeah. Just so that happens again or whatever it was. Whatever the point of the joke was, this is how much I like my job because things like that happen. It keeps it interesting.
So do you try to kind of take those tropes of I hate my job, I hate my wife, whatever, and kind of do the opposite or take them in a different direction?
I did then. Yeah. I try to avoid tropes as much as possible. But it still has to be organic. It still has to be natural in my thinking when it comes to writing. Because to me, comedy is authenticity. It's about, it doesn't have to be truth, but it doesn't have to be real, but it has to be rooted in truth, if that makes sense. Yeah. Everything has to germinate from something I think real. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that write just fake things the thing that makes me roll my eyes and audibly go, ugh, is when I hear somebody try to make up a story just because they want to talk about something that was popular. And I haven't really updated this reference, but it's like, oh, dad bods are in the news, so I'm going to make up a joke about somebody saying, I have a dad bod. Yeah. And I'll sit there and I'll listen to somebody, I'll call it out every time I hear it. Not loudly, but I mean to myself, because it's an open mic where I'm working and stuff, whatever. But someone's like, oh, well, so the other day somebody said I have a dad bod. I'm like, no, they didn't. Nobody's ever told you had a dad bod. Yeah. You heard it's a popular topic to talk about, and you've written a joke about it. There's no root in truth, and what you're going to say, I mean, people may laugh, but they're not going to remember the joke.
Right.
The truthful jokes, or even if it kills, even if it's funny, they're never going to remember it because it's not truthful. If you're not being relatable to people, you can talk about things that they relate to, but if you're not being relatable to them, they're not going to remember it. They'll laugh. They'll have good jokes. They'll think you're hilarious and funny, but then when somebody asks you, it's like, what kind of jokes did he tell? Well, he said he did a joke about like dad bods and like ex-girlfriends, like dating stuff. Like it was really funny. Like you had to been there. But if you say something relatable, I'm not saying I'm the best at this. I try. That's what I strive for. To try to say, to make everything rooted in some truth. And I slip up and do the wrong thing every day. But I think when you say something relatable, that's truthful. Somebody will come up to you and is like, dude, I know that joke about always worried about someone thinks that you're following them. Totally relate to that. Yeah. Like I know, I feel that all the time.
So that's
one joke I used to do. Is
that's like you're the pinnacle, like when somemoman can like relate in that way.
Yeah, and I think that's what people are going to remember. That's what they're going to remember you for. It's more. I think it's more important for somebody to like you than laugh at you.
Yeah,
and they're going to like you for multiple reasons. I mean, we live in a society where we unconsciously like people who are conventionally attractive, whether we want to or not. We just subconsciously like, beyond all those things. Again, this is coming from a short, fat, bald-headed guy that offers nothing to the gene pool other than I don't have allergies. So I hate pretty people.
Hey, man, if you're not allergic to peanuts, that's huge nowadays.
No. Look, all I can offer women in this day and age is that your kid is not going to have hay fever because of me. That's when it comes to reproduction, that's all I got. But yeah, what people are going to walk away with and remember, I think, is what they related to the most.
Yeah.
So like, I did a festival in Ohio a couple weeks ago, and one of the jokes I opened the set with, because I was thinking of I'm just sitting in the hotel room thinking, and I'm like, Ohio face. I think because I heard O face earlier that day on something.
Yeah.
And I probably rolled my eyes and went, O face, ugh, Ohio face, oh. All right, well, so what's the joke for Ohio face?
Yeah.
And the first joke that comes to my mind is just disgusting, going, hey, I'm just here swiping on Tinder looking for a woman who wants to see my Ohio face. Oh! I'm like, all right, no, it's gross. I'm not doing that joke.
Yeah.
And I go through it, and I was like, all right, how do we turn that around? And it was just the turnaround, the easy turnaround, which is swiping through, women in Ohio, you are ruthless. I was on Tinder, and within 5 minutes, I came across a woman whose profile says, just looking for a guy who wants to see my Ohio face.
Yeah.
And I told the joke, and they were immediately like, nope. Nope. Shut it down. You don't get to do it. No, we don't want to hear that joke.
Yeah.
And the rest of the set was fine, but they immediately went, no. Because, again, there's no truth in the joke.
Right.
They smelled the bullshit coming from a mile away. I'm not going to say it's a great joke and that they're wrong for it. It's a fucking stupid joke.
But sometimes...
But it should have been... At best, it should have been... It should have been enough of a laugh to transition from one piece of material to another. And instead, they're like, nope. Not having it. I don't know if they've heard it 1,000 times,
right? Or
if they're like bullshit. And I think that's what it was. It's just like, that didn't happen. You're a fucking liar. More jokes, real jokes. You're losing time, pal.
Is it harder to come off of a first joke that doesn't land?
Well, it wasn't necessary. It was supposed to be the first joke, but I came in and just, oh, look at this place. I've seen Hoedown. Like the comedy festival was in a hangar, a barn.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been in hoedowns that have barns better than this, or not as nice as this, or whatever it was. I don't know. And then that joke, and then went into material. I mean, it depends on who you are, because I've definitely bombed I've tried to write the 10-second joke to come on stage with, or do the tag to somebody else's joke, and hope that I have something funny to say within the first couple of seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And if it bombs, your mouth gets dry real quick. And if you're not I don't want to say used to it. I mean,
if you're too used to it, then maybe.
Yeah. If you do it enough times where you're used to it, you got to think about a lot of your material. But I tell new comedians all the time, and I don't know why anybody listens to anything I say. They probably don't. But at some point, you should learn to get comfortable in silence.
Yeah.
And what I try to do, I practice when I'm open mics or even at shows, is just sometimes I'll just tell a joke and I'll just sit at it for a beat or two.
Just let it lay out there.
After the laughs die, just sit there for a second or two. Maybe think about something, and then just start talking again.
Yeah.
Just to get comfortable, because we have that in us naturally. Where again, I work in radio.
Yeah.
So even though my nickname's Dead Air Dennis, it's supposed to be ironic. But,
Right.
It's like calling a tall guy tiny.
Yeah.
I haven't shut up since the moment I sat down.
You're chatty.
Yeah. I think I have a middle school gym teacher who used to call that diarrhea of the jaws. Ooh.
Yeah.
We're in gym shorts. Why are you talking about diarrhea, old man? Like nobody. Anyway, we want to fill the silence, and being in radio, I want to fill the silence.
Mm-hmm.
That's just our natural instinct, even as a comedian, as entertainers. So, I think it's something you need to learn to get used to, even if it's not. That way, if you say something and it doesn't land, you don't have that Brad Pitt in the movie Snatch moment where you're like, ding, you get hit and you're falling backwards into a pool of water and you're gasping and you're dizzy and you don't know where you're at and you're disoriented and you can't breathe. If you just learn, train yourself to learn that not every single moment has to be filled with your voice or laughter.
Yeah.
I think it can make you hopefully better on stage, because that way when you say that joke that doesn't land, you don't fall into quicksand after that.
Well, it has to add some more comfortable. If you reach that level, you have to be more comfortable on stage, which then is going to naturally make you more genuine because you're more comfortable being up there.
No, because there's definitely people who are comfortable on stage and not genuine, and they're called improvisers.
So you're not a fan of improv?
No, I like to make. No, well, this is the thing. Here's the truth about improv, in my opinion. This is the truth about improv. Good improv is amazing.
Yeah.
Watching seasoned, talented performance artists, not in the weird sense of the way, but like artists who perform and can take 2 words and make a 3-act, a genuine, connecting, logical 3-act improvised play that makes sense.
Yeah.
On top of making it funny is magic. It's when you watch good improv, it's fucking amazing. It's transcending. It's a work of true art. But anything that's not that is abysmal. And mediocre improv is abysmal.
Yeah.
Anything that's not amazing is torture to watch. And you may be like, oh, they're trying. All right, they're having fun. You could be a supportive person, but you're not having fun.
Yeah.
You're just being supportive. And that's what you like, to be supportive. And you feel good because you're supporting them. But ultimately, at the end of the day, or I mean, even it's just if you can laugh and it can be shit jokes here or there that you're just, that's, and it's fine. But it's still torturous sometimes to watch. Anything is not amazing.
At the end of the night, you're lying about how good it was.
Is that with the comedy boom has come the improv boom, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And not only are we at a time where it's easy to sell people on, if you want to learn how to be a public speaker, come take improv.
Right.
We're also at a point where, not at a point, it's always been, the business model of improv is cannibalism. You make your audience your students, you make your students the audience. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
You don't pay your performers. They're there to help support each other.
Right.
And you're doing it for the love of the art.
And then a lot of times the performers will pay into the program.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to pay for the classes to become part of the teams there.
Right.
It's there's so many. I mean, I don't know. There's. Back when you watched people doing it truly for the art because there was no money to be made in it, because you're trying to, you're begging people to come take the program.
Right.
10 years ago, 15 years ago, you're begging people to come in your doors and take the class. Compared now where it's like, you just say, you're filling up 5 classes. And I don't know, maybe it's because, I don't know. I watched the schools in Boston and I get disgusted by what they do, especially Improv Boston. I have no qualms of calling them out for what they do. They're probably one of the worst schools I've ever seen. Not only do they have incredibly untalented people, there's a few very talented people that come through the program, but most of them are not.
Yeah.
They lie to each other. They're so delusional about who's doing what. They're overly supportive, which is the reason why, if you think that you want to become a comedian, but you're not a lone wolf, get into improv, because you got 4 other people on your team that's going to support you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's still a haven for cattiness and cliques and rapists. Like, just look at the amount of sexual assaults that go on in improv communities and improv schools. It's I think the only place that is more rampant with sexual assaulters than Congress or than the politics, improv schools, and then Uber. That's like the three most places where you're going to find the sexual assaulters. I think I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like to me.
And so we were talking earlier. You said you also have a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, before we get away from improv,
sure.
I did improv for a large number of years. I studied short form. I appreciate the art, but and like I said, good. Not what we were doing when I was 16 years old in high school.
Yeah,
any good, but we had fun and we tried. And I look back at the tapes of it and it's like, ugh, so bad. And I'm willing to admit we were bad because we were kids and we were goofing around and whatnot. But anything that's not amazing improv is amazing improv, and that anything other than that is torture to watch. So, but yes, back to my podcast.
So, is it a comedy podcast? What's it about?
Podcast I do is I sit down and interview artists and entertainers about their day jobs, because for me, I don't want to just listen to a couple of schmucks just talking about nothing and trying to make it funny. I'd rather sit down and talk to somebody about something important, something that they are an expert in, and something that's different and interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, people I've had on the podcast before, like, I had a duck boat driver on, because
who the hell's a duck boat driver?
When do you get to sit down and talk to a duck boat driver? I've another comedian, Jordan Hayden Seavey, talked about the time he was a sponsored pro skier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a band come on that 4 out of the 5 members, or 5 out of the 6 members, or something, whatever it is, 4 out of the 6 members, all were music teachers, but they're all different types of music teachers. One taught at home, one taught at public schools, one taught in a conservatory, the other taught music theory.
Yeah.
The other guy in the band was a scientist, lab coat, goggles, a scientist.
Scientist, yeah.
And then the last one, she turns out to be the most interesting, and nothing against the rest of the band. They're all very interesting and awesome people. But the most interesting for me was the one in the band. She just graduated from Berkeley.
Yep.
With a degree in music therapy, which, all right, what's that? And we're talking, and basically it's things like she can control, she'll sit in an operating room with a patient and play a song and control the rhythm of their heartbeat with the rhythm of the beats per minute in the song she's playing on the guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's straight voodoo. How did you go to an accredited university and graduate with a degree in music voodoo? How is that possible?
So
stuff like that. It's not going to come out. I shouldn't say it. Since I write for Dig Boston, I do the comedy section for them, and just interviews, Q&A interviews, because I'm not much of a writer. But comedians who come to town, I talk to, like Eric Griffin.
Yeah.
But also, I still try to find like the niche thing to them. Like Eric and I talked a lot about being a comedian and working on TV shows.
Right.
Because he's not a trained actor. He's a comedian who does a fair amount of acting, and what that's like for him. I talked to Laurie Kilmartin about being a single mom, a monologue writer for Conan, and being a stand-up. So here's a woman who wakes up at 6 a.m. every day, feeds her kids breakfast, her kid, not multiple, she only has one for now, gets her kid breakfast, drops them off at school, goes to Conan, writes monologue jokes all day, leaves, picks up her son from school, takes him home, gets him dinner, leaves, goes out, does a bunch of spots, come home, puts her kid to bed, and then goes back out at 10 o'clock
and does more
do more spots, comes home at midnight, 1, 2 a.m., wakes up and does it all over again.
So is that what you find interesting, that kind of how creative and art abuts normal life?
Well, it's more, I want to showcase to normal people what we as artists have to go through to support our calling, or support what we want to do.
Yeah.
It's the things that we have to do at daytime to support what we want to do at night. And it came about from a couple of things. One, I worked in radio for 20 years.
Yeah.
Everyone's always instantly fascinated about that job when I tell them that. And the first thing out of most people's mouths was like, oh, are you on air? I'm like, no. Well, sometimes I was, but I usually say no just to watch them go. Because I loved watching the life go out of their eyes and go, oh. Because even if they don't know who you are, you're on the radio?
Yeah.
You're a celebrity. You know, that's the thing that no, it's I don't.
I was gonna
agree
say,
with
do you
that.
feel like that's
not
a thing
what
anymore?
I feel like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, people still do that all the time.
Yeah, I just
People
feel like
all the time. You know, you can say what you want about it. We are even the people who are like, "Oh, you work for a radio station? Which one? Oh, 98 Rock?" Or well, I didn't work for. I should actually say the radio station. I was just hanging out with friends from 98 Rock back in Baltimore. But the so yeah, like I'll DC 101. You work at DC 101? I don't listen to the radio anymore. Do you know Elliot from Elliot in the Morning? I'm like, it's like, I thought you didn't listen to radio.
Yeah.
And it's in 20 years, none of that fascination from other people has died out. Like even you right now cracked a little bit of a smile when I said it. Unknowingly you do it because we do it. We can sit here and joke all day long that radio's a dying medium or whatever this or that, and it's not. It'll never be dead. It'll never go away. There's still people who are going to look for free entertainment because we as a society need to be told what to love and what to like, and that's what radio's there for. There's other outlets to do it now, but the easiest outlet is radio. So radios are still going to be in cars. They'll still turn that radio on. Oh, my iPod's not working. Let me turn on the local radio station or whatever.
And it's just the easiest thing to, it
always
comes
be
on
there.
automatically, so you don't have to.
It'll always be there. It's never going to go away. AM should have already gone away, but FM radio is never going to go away because also we have, not when it comes to NPR is bigger now than it ever was.
Yeah.
Partly because of podcasts and whatnot, but also partly because it's been cool to say that you listen to NPR. It's become a trendy thing to say now.
Has the FCC backed off on the famous 7 words you can't say on radio? Because I feel
there's no such thing as 7 words you can't say on radio. The actual and I was a censor for a bunch of years at DC 101 for the morning show. What the rule says, we all know the George Carlin bit, but what the actual wording and verbiage is, you cannot. And now I'm paraphrasing the actual wording, but because I used to know. Basically you can't say anything that is considered to be obscene at any point of the day.
Yeah.
And during golden hour, we had a special word for it, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., you can't say anything that is considered titillating.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is up for interpretation by the FCC. Here's also the thing. For that to happen, somebody has to make a complaint to the FCC about it.
Right. They're not listening to all stations at all times.
And then the FCC has to go investigate it. And they have to go pull the logs, and they have to listen to it, and then also determine if what that person said was in fact offensive, obscene,
or titillating.
Or titillating, or whatever it was during the time, and what the context of it was. Thank God the FCC actually looks into contents of things. After the whole Janet Jackson incident, there was what they called zero tolerance. There's no exception to the rules. Whereas before that, they would understand that if a jock's on the air talking and it reaches down on the console and there's a short, it gets shocked and he goes, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
They're like, all right, well, clearly that expletive wasn't on purpose,
right? Because
of what happened in the moment. We're not going to fine you.
Yeah.
After Janet Jackson, for a period during zero tolerance, that was now taken off the board. So if by chance a fleeting expletive came up, you're going to get fined. Other things that where they would take in consideration, like if you're doing a live event and somebody in the crowd's like, "Somebody," and it just gets picked up by the thing, and nobody dumps on it.
Which happens all the time.
Yeah. Then if somebody complained about it and they fall and listen to it, they're like, well, there's nothing you could have done in the moment.
Right.
Other than hit the dump button, and I guess if you didn't hear it because of whatever's happening, it's a lot. Or live sporting events, there's no delay.
Yeah, or the crowd starts, chanting "fuck you" or something.
Yeah,
which they do. And what are you gonna do?
Cut the mics
the whole time.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah,
I've pulled. That's what I had to do. That was my job, and we did live remotes. And if it got too much, I'd pull it off and shout a message like, "Dude, you gotta tell this audience to stop doing that."
Yeah.
Or I can't put your show back on the air, and I'll just play Rubber Biscuit by the Blues Brothers over and over and over again until you do. So yeah, no, that's what you have to do because I was post.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, or I started. When was that Super Bowl? Anybody know what year? I started radio in
2004.
Thanks for the hand signals on the podcast. So glad we were able to interpret it. Somebody get this man a microphone. He brought all.
He's got one. He's just not very chatty.
But no, I started when I was 22, so 2003
Yeah.
is when I started. So yeah, if it was 2004, I definitely started right around that when all that madness happened.
Yeah.
And then of course they relaxed a little bit on it, but they removed zero tolerance because it was ridiculous. It was very reactionary to what happened.
Right.
The biggest
TV
TV show in the world, somebody whipped their boob out non-accidentally.
Yeah.
So
what is kind of like your end game? Like, where do you want your comedy to take you? Or do you want to do the Netflix special? Or are you looking for like?
I mean, I don't think anyone can
sitcom.
I don't. Maybe some people make goals like that. I don't. I just want to continue to do it and pay my bills.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough in the past year since I've been laid off from radio to be able to survive off of comedy, acting, and now I do freelance podcast recording.
Mm-hmm.
For like NPR and other companies that podcast conglomerates and networks and stuff hire me to go record their stuff, and I've made it a year and 3 weeks now. August 24th, yeah. So whatever, what's today? The 15th, 16th?
16th, yeah.
September 16th. So it's been 6 and 16th, 22 days. So 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since I was fired.
Yeah.
And that fact I've made. I mean, I'm not swimming in dough. I'm treading water.
Right.
Any moment, the financial undertow could just take me down. But my head's above water for right now.
Right.
And
hopefully it's something that you love to do. And
I mean, I'm doing what I like. That's why I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not looking for a job, right? But I'm not actively looking.
Right.
Like I said, I just was working on my resume today, and I submitted it to a radio company because it's a job that I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'll want to do it, and it came across my plate. I'm not actively looking for jobs. I'm not willing to take any job. I'll take the job that I want. I'll take the job that's going to make me happy. I'm not going to just take any job in radio.
Right.
That's what I did to get up here, and it made me miserable for 6.5 years or 5.5 years.
Yeah.
I've been miserable for 6.5. What misery radio didn't give me, the state of Massachusetts made up for.
And you said you've been.
The end game is just that's all I want to do is just be an entertainer, and make my bills from that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't want to do it in New England. I want to get out of here because I know there's better cities to do that, and I have to upgrade and move my way to New York or L.A., maybe Austin, Texas. That's a huge hub right now for comedy and a lot of stuff, and the entertainment business is keeping their eye close to that area. But ultimately, if you want it to be an entertainer, you at some point have to consider whether you're going to go to New York or L.A.
Yeah.
If you want to just be a stand-up comedian in New York, if you want to be more of an entertainer, which is what I always consider myself, is to be an entertainer, a host, a presenter, actor, comedian. And when it comes to acting, by the way, I'm not talking I am Shakespearean trained. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
I'm not. If you're looking for Hamlet, I'm not your guy. If you're looking for the quirky best friend that comes in, hits his mark, says his line, and doesn't look at the camera or fall down, I'm your guy. I can do that. But I'd rather go to LA because there's more opportunities for those things.
Yeah.
If there was somewhere else where I could do all those things, and know I could do it successfully and financially successfully, I'll do it. Yes, there's of course people like Brian Regan who doesn't live in New York or LA and tours, but I'm not Brian Regan.
Right.
Brian Regan, but Brian Regan also lives in Las Vegas, so that's another city for it.
There's plenty of stuff going on there.
Yeah, Las Vegas, but also again, when you get to Brian Regan's level, not even when you get to there's a lot of touring working comedians where you can live in any city across America. Chad Daniels does that. He lives in Minnesota or something.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hilarious. Chad Daniels might be one of the best comedians in the history of comedy.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's
I'll have to check him out.
Hysterical, and comes off as comedy is very mean and very, very, very aggressive.
Yeah.
It's the nicest guy in the world. When I was a doorman at the Baltimore Comedy Factory, before I even really started doing comedy, he would come there and just is the nicest, quietest guy, and then will throw out a barb that just hits you right dead square in the center of the four chambers of your heart.
Yeah.
He is ruthless and hysterical and very smart and great and witty and wonderful. And I highly recommend Chad Daniels. But he lives in Nowheresville, Minnesota or something like that.
Yeah.
Doug Stanhope lives like in a cabin in the woods, basically.
That makes sense.
Like, yeah. And they tour. And again, you don't know Chad Daniels' name.
Yeah.
But trust me, he makes fantastic money touring the country, headlining clubs, and probably theaters. I'm sure he's doing theaters. I don't know. I've only seen him in clubs, and I only know when he's in clubs. When I see his name and stuff, I never see his name in theaters. But not to say he's not doing theaters. If he's doing theaters, he's doing small theaters.
Yeah.
It's not Sebastian Maniscalco or whatever that guy. I don't understand how he's popular. But and again, why don't I know? Like, I don't particularly. I find Sebastian Maniscalco's comedy. There's two things. Here's what kills me about him.
He's another guy I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, he just hosted the MTV Video Music Awards.
I can't tell you the last.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, but I can't tell you the last time.
I mean, I would figure you may have heard. Heard of who the host for the MTV Music Awards.
I just have
more viewers than this podcast.
I just learned they still do the MTV Music Video Awards,
and I think it's Video Music and TV Awards, or something like that. Yeah, he's just, he's sold out Madison Square Garden. Like, he's a humongous. He has a very heavily Italian American. Oh, prosciutto wrapped in cheese and my mama's maniscotti or whatever. That's his whole act. But and the thing is, he has that. But then there's other times where he has really good, smart jokes that he works really hard on. Like, this is a guy who doesn't relax on his morals. But then he has like shitty hack Italian jokes, and it's for me, whatever. I don't even know how I got on that. But, so yeah, but I don't. I'd rather live in L.A. at this point. Eventually, at some point, when right now, Massachusetts has me because I'm too poor to leave it. That's the problem.
We've got him.
Yeah. We're gonna keep him poor until he kills himself. I'd rather be out there working in the entertainment. I love doing background in movies.
Well, you mentioned you've been doing some acting,
I did community theater and stuff like that. I went to a theater high school because I went to a theater magnet high school because I lived across the street.
Yeah,
but I also was very involved in the theater program, even though I wasn't, even though it wasn't my major curriculum. I was very heavily involved. I did improv and I did all that in acting, and I do short films here and student projects. I just done background in a bunch of movies here in Boston last fall. Because when I lost my job, I tripled down on that stuff because I really couldn't do it. Because you can't do it when you have a day job,
right? Because they're going to film during the day. You have to be
trust me.
around.
Movies don't, even though they spend millions and millions of dollars on movies, but they will not pay overtime on the weekends. So everything's obviously during occasionally there's overnights, this and that, whatever. Occasionally there's some over their weekend, but very few and far between.
Right,
it's minimal crew. It's like second crew, and all they're doing is just all right. We're standing here at the edge of Boston where there's a sign that says, now entering Boston. Set the camera up, pan left to right, and cut. All right. And that's it. They're doing establishing shots or pickups or stuff like that. They're not doing any real filming on weekends. But when it happens, for real movies, I mean, I've done tons of weekend stuff. But, I like doing background work because it's 2 meals a day. It's $21 an hour, guaranteed 8 hours pay.
Yeah.
All I can do is stand over there and not fall down and look at the camera. Done deal.
Yeah.
And I know that my best side for the camera is whatever side's the most out of focus. So I got fish with that one too. I knew sooner or later he'd put his phone down and laugh at a joke. Yeah. But because it's fun. It's fun being in the movie business. There's a lot of dumb, annoying people in the movie business. I can't be I could never be a production assistant. Like, I have a ton of behind the mic and behind the camera experience, and that's, where I'm probably better at that than I am performing.
But you don't want to deal with the people?
Look, if someone wanted to hire me to hold a boom mic in a movie, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not looking for that job, but I probably should be. But I don't want to be the production assistant who's in charge of background actors because they ask the stupidest questions. I mean, actors in general are pretty freaking annoying people. I know a lot who are great people, and the ones who I'm friends with, if by chance they come across and listen to this and they're like, I thought Dennis liked me. I do. All right. If what I'm about to say doesn't apply to you, then I'm not talking about you. Anyway, but they say the dumbest shit all the time. One of them is the thing that drives me the most nuts is a production assistant and go, all right, so I need everybody who's in group A to come with me and go over there. And without fail, somebody will go, what if you're in group B? Nobody's talking to you. sit and wait until they say Group B. I couldn't do that because that's exactly how I would react after the second time. I'm not even the one I'm just another schmuck in Group A, and I'm just like, I might even be a schmuck in Group C. And so nobody's talking to you. That's the answer. Sit down and shut the fuck up. And then something explodes in my brain. So yeah, I couldn't do that job because I couldn't stand that. But they also said, "Look, oh, you never know. This will be your big break." Nobody's ever gone from an extra to a superstar. There's no overnight success. Like the most recent one is these dumb Facebook groups that I follow for work or whatever that. And of course, it's like any other Facebook group. Somebody thinks that every thought they have to fucking broadcast into the group. Like anybody gives a shit. And of course, there are a bunch of goddamn narcissists there. Like, oh, good for you for walking past a sign that says "set" today, even though you weren't on production. Don't worry, you'll get the next one. Like, what? Why are we entertaining this idiot? But somebody posted about Samuel L. Jackson was a heroin addict who went to rehab and then got his big break starring as a starring role in a Spike Lee movie, and then he went on to do Pulp Fiction. And I was like, no, motherfucker worked for 20 years before that in movies.
Yep.
And he did 2 other Spike Lee movies before Jungle Fever, what it was they mentioned.
Yeah.
No, he made it big, not because you have to always look up. No, because he fucking worked his asshole. Get your head out of the clouds and put your nose to the grindstone.
It's one of those, like, people think everyone's an overnight success because they didn't know about them before they had their big break.
But they all believe that there's that anything could happen. No, not. It doesn't, because it hasn't happened. You're not going to be the one that gets plucked out of you're not even a day player. You are a nonverbal human furniture. You're human furniture.
You might have wandered onto the set.
You're breathing furniture, right? You are not going to be the second lead tomorrow. No director's going to look and go, "You're the one that I've been looking for. Chris Evans, you're fired. You're now Fish. You're now our star." No, that doesn't happen.
Fish is Captain America?
Yeah.
I'd go see that movie because he's my friend, and I want to support my friend.
No, yeah, and don't take this personal, but if you became Captain America, it's Captain Trump's America. That's
so where can people go online to check out your podcast? Well, what is the name of your podcast?
So what do you really do?
I work in marketing.
That's the name of the podcast. It's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, it's on Google Play. But everything, if you want to find out where I'm going to be doing Comedy Next, if you want to read any of the articles and interviews that I write for Dick Boston, and this I probably shouldn't say this. I'm going to say it anyway. In October, I have an interview with Nick Offerman coming out in print.
Oh, nice.
They won't let me podcast it, but do a podcast for it. Because usually what I'll do is I'll do a phone interview.
Yeah.
And then I was like, can I, and I'll trim down the phone interview for print and make it sound
podcast.
I'll trim down the print to make me not sound like an idiot. And I'll adjust things to make, like, if I ask a question about something here and then something applies to it later, now I can move that question there, and now it has a flow and a narrative and all that stuff. I say I'm not a good writer, but
I don't know. Fish, you can trim me down and make me not sound like an idiot? Is that a thing?
But that's in print.
Oh, in print. All right.
Andy, I'm not that good.
All right.
I can't. Sorry.
I have my hopes set.
But then I'll release the unedited phone call as a podcast, as additional media, and they don't want me releasing the phone call as a podcast, so I can't. Somebody else had did that too, and I was like, why not? Who cares? They didn't say anything, but whatever. So that won't be a podcast, but I'll have a Q&A in Dick Boston in October to promote his show at the now we don't know. I don't know if it's Chevalier or Chevalier Theater. I've been calling it the Chevalier Theater, Chevillar. Somebody else just told me the other day it's pronounced Chevalier. I'm like, are you sure? And she goes, no. So here we are.
We're from,
there's a
I'm
theater
from Massachusetts.
in Medford that Nick Offerman will be performing at October 24th. And prior to that, in Dig Boston, which you can read at your local newsstands in the Boston area, or online at digboston.com, you can read my interview with him. Or any of my past interviews or podcasts, find everything at deadairdennis.com, DeadAirDennis.com. Dead, as in like dead, air as in what we breathe, and Dennis as in me.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you coming down and talking to us, man.
No problem. I'm glad you reached out to me. It's a fun time.
I hope someday you come out of your shell and
it's one day I'll get over this stage fright.
Right.
And
I tell you, it's such a relief because usually it's like the other way around where you're trying to like
Dude.
get these visual artists who don't normally speak to like open up.
Dude, my first radio show was an internet radio show for my college that had a broadcast range of 50 feet FM. And I did a local music show.
Yeah.
And I brought in local music bands, and I'm doing the show, like the basic clock of the show was like the first 40 minutes was playing music from local bands.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 20 minutes was interviews and acoustic performances if they could.
Yep.
And without a doubt, as soon as they walk in, all the way up to the 40-minute mark, yeah, great, awesome, having a great time, we're joking. And like, even I was like, guys, you need to calm down. I'm doing a break. Stop talking.
Yeah.
And to the moment, I was like, all right, here, I'm in the studio with Misdirected. Hey, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves to all the listeners? And then just like,
Hi.
like now all of a sudden the microphone has become a venomous snake. So yeah, no, I feel you on that. I've lived that world where I'm a lot of people in the performance world have social anxiety and I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of the other quirks, depression, anger issues, suicidal thoughts, all that good stuff. But not anxiety and fear of talking to people. I have no problem with that. It doesn't bother me to go up and talk to people, and that's makes me a pariah in my social
pariah?
scenes. Is that the right word? Pariah?
I don't know.
It makes me. Makes some people, the people who are socially awkward, when they meet somebody who's outgoing, makes them hate you even more.
I get what you're saying, yeah. So
They
more
already
like, please
hate
stop
public.
talking, please
Yeah.
stop talking, please stop talking.
Not
Yeah.
even stop talking. It's like, why are you smiling?
Oh,
Why,
see, if
why are
it's-
you telling other people to come in here to the show? Why are you talking to people and trying to make them happy? What is wrong with you?
Some people like to be miserable.
Yeah, some people are only happy when it rains.
Yeah. But again, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
No, it was a pleasure. Good meeting you, Fish.
Yeah.
He waved.
He waved. Great radio. That's why we don't let him talk. The only time he talks is if you start talking about Star Trek or baseball. Then he chimes in.
Why have we not been talking about Star Trek this whole time? Are you watching the new CBS version?
See what you started?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Because you don't want to pay extra money for the program, or because you don't like it, or what's the deal?
Mostly just not. It didn't strike me something worth paying for.
Okay.
And honestly, the Orville scratched my Star Trek itch.
Really? Because I've heard bad things about the Orville.
It's got a real TNG, but with like a dirtier sense of humor feel going on.
Okay.
It's surprisingly good.
Story-wise, or surprisingly good as a comedy?
Yes.
Okay, because I have heard people that have liked it, but the bad reviews I've heard about the Orville, and I haven't watched it yet myself. I was interested, especially since I'm a big Ralph Garman fan, and Ralph Garman finally has some stable work now. But
It's worth sitting down and sitting through.
Is it?
At least
Okay.
give it a couple episodes to kind of, if it works for you. If you grew up on The Next Generation, it's very much Seth MacFarlane's
I think
love letter to TNG.
That's what some people have said, that it's a love letter to that kind of
totally
sci-fi.
is. Absolutely.
But some people have said that it tries to make a spoof of it, but just comes off as a bad version or a bad bootleg version of it.
I can't call it a spoof. It's
I
way
think
too sincere.
I think that's what it is. It's supposed to come off as a spoof, but it's too sincere, and it kind of ruins both things for some people in reviews.
It worked. It
Okay.
works for me. All
right.
It scratches the itch.
And you know what? I don't hate Adrienne Padalecki.
No, she's fine.
She's not the world's best actress.
No, but she's
adequate.
No, and I mean
She's the female Chris Pine.
That's
whereas they're attractive, they're an okay actor, but no one's ever really give them any heavy lifting.
No.
I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did give her a little bit, and she did okay with it, but they didn't give her more than she couldn't handle.
No,
Chris Pine has never done
easily
any
the
real acting.
Fourth best woman acting on that show at the time.
She's the fourth best woman actor on that show.
Well,
is that what you
on
said?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time.
Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Chloe Bennett came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she came out
as a K-pop star
to like
turn
Chinese
actress,
pop star, and
who
all of a sudden she can.
And they dropped a lot of weight on her and Ian DeCaster. Fitz.
God, he's amazing. Like, holy crap, he's so good.
Like, he might be. He might be one of the best actors ever.
Really
like we haven't seen him as true since, but what they throw on him on the show, how he deals with it, is absolutely amazing.
All the absurd crap they've given him to work through, and he has nailed all of it.
Emotionally and naturally, too.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you doing on this little ABC show that's, I kind of assume is going to get canceled 4 years ago.
And he did. I like it. I'm not going to defend the show. I love it.
No, I'm not saying it's
there's
not.
still there's still new episodes, right?
Yeah.
They have one more season. They're going to do a seventh season.
Yeah.
And seventh and final season.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where I kind of like. I've been assuming the show's going to die after like season 3, as soon as the movies kind of cut it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've always. I mean, they fifth season they had a tie-in with Thanos
For like 4 seconds.
Yeah. Well,
then,
I mean, but that's the thing.
And then
I
no
just
one
like
told
it.
what happened after.
But that's the thing. And maybe this is why I accepted Agents of Shield compared to everyone else in the world is I didn't look at this as MCU TV, Iron Man on TV. No, I looked at it as, oh, here's just another story that takes place in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm okay with tiny little injections here and there. I don't care. Like, by the way, did you notice we finally had one crossover from TV show to movie?
Yes.
Did you notice who it was? Jarvis. Yes. Okay.
Super excited.
Oh, right.
Jarvis in Infinity War.
Yep.
Wait,
Endgame.
no, Endgame. Sorry.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey.
I meant to say, I wanted to say Infinity War 2.
Yeah,
I still want to call it that.
Same
but,
thing.
That's what it is.
But yeah, I was so happy to see that guy because he's James Darcy.
Jim Darcy, yeah.
Jim Darcy or James? James Darcy.
He's way too British to be Jim.
Good point. I like him as an actor, and then he's been in other things that I've come across. I'm like, he's just a classic working actor that is, you put him somewhere, he acts, and then he walks away from it.
Yeah, and then he's done.
He's the poor man, and I don't mean this in pejoratively. He's a poor man's Lawrence of Olivier. He is an actor. He walks in, he acts, and he walks away, and he doesn't carry on to it with it. He doesn't, from what I've seen or tell, and he's great. And I'm so happy that he got to be the one that transferred over. So yeah, Agents of Shield. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the small amount of references that we got to the
and
thing.
I'm fine with it being its own story, and I'm fine with it doing its own thing.
Exactly. Because I like the characters.
I'm just always pleasantly surprised that they keep picking it up.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
have never been amazing.
The ratings have never been amazing. But for them,
a super cheap show to make.
It is. They own the production on it.
They own the production.
They're not paying somebody else to produce.
Those effects, if those are cheap, then those are amazingly well done effects.
I mean, they have so many in-house people to do that's all they get paid to do. They're not contracting it out to another company. They have enough in-house people to do it, and the effects are good. And it's not hard to get good effects these days.
Yeah, but I've seen so many, really bad effects watching mediocre to sci-fi shows that having something show up and just good God.
Like the first episode when they showed the Zephyr.
Yeah.
Everyone's mind was blown away. And they've never, because they did a great digital insert of this plane, and everyone was like, fuck! So is this going to be the quality of the show?
Good, yeah.
And it's maintained that quality.
And the thing that always caught me was Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
The effects
on Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider was very good. The fact it was natural.
It was the most, it's like, holy crap, you're doing this on a TV budget. This thing looks amazing.
The chain, I remember his chain did not look good.
The chain was eh.
Yeah, the chain movement didn't look great, but the flames
his effect
were great.
of him oh, good God.
Yeah.
I gotta revisit. I'm
really
way behind on that.
Again, I'm not going to say the show's amazing. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's better than Gotham. Ugh. Where it's every 5 seconds they're just going, hey, by the way, Batman. Ugh, I'm so done with Batman.
I honestly wouldn't know. I gave up on season 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised they even had. I gave up before season 2 because I figured Jada Pinkett Smith was going to chew up all the Serenity before the end of the season finale. Whew, that was bad acting.
Yeah.
And you know what? And trust me, it's bad acting when me, a boy from Baltimore, a hometown boy from Baltimore, will say that another born and raised Baltimorean was doing bad. Jada Pinkett Smith, born and raised in Baltimore, terrible actress on Gotham.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. She just chewed up scenery every episode. It was so terrible. And I just didn't like the air of every second they're just trying to remind you, ooh, Batman.
It's like, look, it's all the guys you full on expect to see, but they're all little kids. I'm like, I don't really care about 12-year-old Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and I think
12-year-old Poison Ivy isn't interesting.
In all of the Marvel shows, I think the drama and the relationships and the emotions are much better written and portrayed than Flash, Arrow. What was it? DC Legends, Legends of Tomorrow, aka the and I mean this pejoratively, the poor man's Doctor Who.
First of all, as poor man's Doctor Who, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I still love it because
I rather watch Torchwood than Doctor Who any day of the week.
I like Torchwood, but I don't know. I really like Doctor Who. The thing that makes me saddest is that we're not going to get more Daredevil.
Yeah, it's
and I'm not even a Daredevil fan. I don't think the
Netflix series are dead. I don't think they're DOA.
Well, I think they're dead if only because they're going to bring it back. Whatever they're doing, they're not going to be doing on Netflix. They're going to be doing on...
Clearly it's not dead. They're going to do on Disney+.
But they're not doing they're not bringing back
Any of those actors?
Well, they sold it all off.
Well, they sold off the props.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean...
And, you know...
it doesn't mean anything. But also,
that's a lot
what are we doing?
stuff you'd have to respend.
We're starting phase 4.
Right?
Yeah, I forgot where. Phase 4 is going more and more cosmic. Same thing with phase 5. So it sucks we're not getting we're not going to get a Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man movie. But that's okay if Sony does an okay job with it, because they're going more cosmic anyway. So they were going to... Spider-Man's not going to fit into that, you know. Like, he does great as being your eyes and ears. He's great being your Coulson for Infinity War.
Yeah, he's great everyman. He's your
Mary Sue. Well, not Mary Sue. That would mean
he's your Samwise Gamgee.
You're Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah. He's Sam, but with like.
I think they have a name for that character like that. That there's a literary name for.
He's
a
like your
point
of view guy. He's your Watson.
Okay.
He's Watson basically. Like all the cool shit's happening around him.
In Infinity War, he's great for that.
Yeah,
because
as soon as you start
we're
leaving
now
Earth,
being, you know, like he's what makes the rest of us relate to space epic MCU that we weren't really getting outside of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like you took a whole bunch of people and threw them into space that
didn't go into space.
Exactly, and then he was the one that had to be like,
oh, we're using our
aliens?
superhero names? Yeah.
I will say this is where MCU messed up with Spider-Man. Is they made him with it. That's the line that got me.
Really?
Because Spider-Man in the comics would never introduce himself as Peter Parker. He would have just been like, Hi, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and that's why his reveal in Civil War in the comics was so huge.
Yeah.
Because he was the most protected
secret
identity in all of Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And
see that.
the MCU really let... They weren't as loosey-goosey with him taking his mask off as Sam Raimi was. Ugh.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah.
Why do people like Sam Raimi? I don't get it. He's not made one good movie.
I don't. It's the mask has to be off at the end of every movie.
Because if we don't see the actor's face, we're not going to be able to relate to them. No, well, they did a great job of having his face emote through all the CGI mask and stuff. They didn't play it out, but and by the way, that's my only gripe with Spider-Man in the MCU, is that he introduced himself twice as Hi, I'm Peter Parker, where he would be Hi, I'm Spider-Man. You know, but the joke works when he's like, Hi, I'm Peter Parker.
Why do you gotta hate on it, man? Can't you just take it for what it is?
Don't get me started. No, but yeah, that's my only complaint with MCU Spider-Man, is he introduced himself as Peter Parker twice. Like even Captain Marvel looking, it's like, hey, Peter Parker. It's like, nobody knows his name. Like in Infinity War, like the Infinity War comic, he made a huge deal about when his costume got tattered up about having to get a new costume to protect his identity, even though he was in outer space amongst another bunch of superheroes.
Yeah.
Would have liked to see the paper bag scene.
Oh, the paper bag Fantastic Four?
Yeah. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
That would have been a great nod had we got that.
But
anyway.
So this is the bonus nerd episode. Thanks again, man.
Send all MCU hate mail to Dead Air Dennis.
No, man, it's been a pleasure.
No, it was actually nice talking to you guys. Hopefully, we get to do this again someday, somehow, some way.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to.
All right. Good night.
Cool.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, thanks for checking out the podcast. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network. There's the Bar Talk. There's Old Colony Cast. There's, of course, the Inebri-art Podcast. And our latest, Retro Redoctopus, a kind of nerd genre podcast that you can check out now, all available on our website at inebri-art.com. And pretty much available everywhere that podcasts are available, on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all those things. And if you don't see it where you're looking, let us know. We'll try to get onto that as well. And you can also email us at inebri-art@yahoo.com with your questions, complaints, and suggestions. And also, if you could take the time to rate and review us on iTunes, that would be phenomenal. That helps us get more exposure and bring more of these great podcasts to your ears. And thanks again for listening.